And welcome back. Now let's shift gears to politics and see what's happening. A lot happened over the weekend, and let's have a discussion today on Eye on the Politics. And with me in studio, I have got Hezena, Lemaletian, who is youth leader, so to speak, yes, and woman representative, Aspirant, Samburu County, as well as Dr. Richard Bosire, who is a lecturer at the University of Nairobi, political science, and as well as political analyst. We are still waiting for Simon Gikuru, who is the party, that is ANC party Secretary General, who will be here with us shortly. But meanwhile, welcome to the program, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you.
It's a cold morning here in Nairobi. I don't know which part of Nairobi we come from, but it's been a cold one, so to speak. Karibu to the show. Starting with you, Hezena.
Yes.
A lot happened over the weekend, and one thing is for certain. There's this hashtag, lower the food prices. I don't know where it came from. What do you make of that? Are Kenyans just tired, or we need food prices to be lowered?
I think, yeah, I'm one of the victims because Kenyans flooded my timeline, writing the hashtag in anything I post. But I feel like it's, of course, the food prices are high right now, and a lot of Kenyans are suffering. In fact, in Samburu, people are dying of hunger right now.
Yeah.
And I bet across the entire dry, marginalized counties across the country. But I think also the people who are fueling the hashtag are allied to the deputy president. And I don't know why they should be complaining to us who are not yet in government instead of complaining to their party leader. If there is indeed enough handouts rolling out in the streets, why can the same be translated into supplying of food for the starving majority?
Yeah. So it's political. There's nothing more direct to Kenya.
There's some truth to it, but it's more of political.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Dr. if you look at it, why this time? Lower food prices. Why this time?
I would say, Victor, Kenyans are stressed. That is a fact. In northern Kenya especially, we have serious food shortages.
Yeah.
And in a country that is proud, we are proud people as Kenyans, that we are an agricultural country. We are people who are self-reliant, independent, and all these words that convey autonomy and all that. We shouldn't be having such problems in this time in our history. Government should prepare in good time, in advance, to take care of its people, particularly when we're under such distress. So I would say it's real, there is a problem. It's coming now because, again, of politics. And again, it looks like someone is pointing a finger to the state.
Yes.
But the reality is, I think as a country we have failed. We have failed to be food secure, to be food secure. It's a major issue. I look at manifestos of political parties, everyone talks about food security as a priority for this country. Yeah. But it's not happening. Why? Because I would say for the political interests of actually those people in power. Yeah. And we know when you ask for food security, this is in the public domain. The deputy president spoke the other day about milk to exports to Congo, who have only one cow.
A statement that elicited a lot of diplomatic reaction.
Yes. Yeah. So we can see that we're thinking of food exports. At the same time, our people are suffering from food shortages. Why can't we distribute the food that's within the country more evenly and have everyone have food on the table? The other message that this communicates is that actually people do not have money that can afford food and food for their families. Why? The economy is not doing well. We're still in the COVID season period. We have, the country has suffered, the economy, world economy, even Kenyan economy has suffered from this. So this distress call by the people is real. But then when you make it political, I think then you downplay it. Yeah. It's like nobody should respond. Respond to it politically. It's supposed to be responded to really adequately. And it's time that our leaders played politics that benefit the public. We cannot talk about helping the entire community, the lowest in the community, when at the same time we sabotage processes that will lead to their development, that will lead to them being food secure. For instance, why are we talking about these things now? Why didn't we reduce or give subsidies on fertilizers, give subsidies on seed, provide water for the animals, even dry animal feeds, rather than watching animals die across the country? I think our leaders are not serious. We can do it, and we need the leadership that will be able to deliver this.
I'm quite interested in knowing, when Kenyans come up with this kind of hashtag, Hezena, what about Samburu, where you come from? Because it's something that's quite recurrent each and every year. The cycle, some arid and semi-arid areas suffer from hunger, But then now, when you look at that hashtag, what does it paint to your locals from those areas in particular?
First of all, most of my locals are not on the internet, so the hunger is biting and it's real. They
don't get the message.
Yes, the hunger is biting and it's real, and it's contributed to by the climatical conditions, and it's not just Samburu. I'm sure Turkana, Mandera, Garissa, Tana River are starving as well as Marsabit. I know places in Marsabit where I was called the other day and told that people are dying of hunger. So this is something that the government needs to do. But the other day I remember there was a promise by, I think, the president, was it the president of the state, through the UPI Alliance. There was some food that was supposed to be distributed to the starving Kenyans, and which they said that they have cancelled the actual food supply, and they were giving money instead. This money has not yet gotten to the people. So I don't know what UPI Alliance did with whatever they were given to supply to the pastoralist counties. And like Professor said, that it's not wise to make it political, because these are real issues that are biting people. But the moment you make it political, and it means you are lazy, because you're pointing fingers to your own self. You are in government. The president said the other day that 2 billion is getting lost. This money could have gone a long way in ensuring that these people are not starving. And why are the people who are receiving majority of handouts leading the hashtag? Because I personally don't have a kitty, but I supply food to the people from my own resources and friends. They can do the same as Kenyans. It's a collective responsibility, because when they bring in the political angle to it, then it becomes everyone's responsibility, because you are in government and you're pointing those same fingers to your people in government. And they're blaming Raila Odinga. Raila Odinga is not in government yet. What he's selling is hope. He is selling hope because Kenyans are hopeless. So when you call him, I'm seeing in the papers that you're calling him, someone is calling him Mr. Promise. Of course, he has to promise us what his government is going to deliver. Because as Kenyans, as youth, as women in this country, we are hopeless. And we need a leader who is selling us hope. Yes.
Absolutely. You know, when it gets to, actually, they say the only way to a man's heart is through the stomach. And a man's heart means all gender concerned, because when everyone is hungry, you can imagine what happens. Okay, let's get into the gist of the matter here. A lot happened over the weekend, but one thing that is on the front pages is the Kalonzo, Moi and Raila Pact that is coming soon on Saturday. I think you have that on the Star, Hezena. And the president will in person attend that signing of the pact. So it's a done deal as we speak. What do you make of that?
I think I like what our president is doing now as far as politics is concerned, because we want a country that is healed. For the first time, we have hopes that the future of this country will be free of tribalism. And pacts like this, Azimio la Umoja, it's basically calling on Kenyans from the different tribal background, ethnic background, and different regions to come together and embrace unity as a country. And I feel like this is very vital for the progress of our nation. If a country is divided within itself, everything else will collapse. The economy, stability, and everything, nothing will progress. So I like that our president is not just focused on installing another candidate, but is focused on bringing these leaders.
Installing would mean that he's going to pass the mantle direction.
That's what they're saying. So at least
he's supporting the candidate.
Exactly. So he's really trying to bring all of them together and show them that, you know, you can have a common unity of purpose. Yes.
Daktari, it's now confirmed that the president's heart is in the Azimio la Umoja. The secret is already open now.
I think it has always been, not now.
But the fact that he's going to attend that PAP signing, it's now confirmed.
It says actually to be sealed at Jubilee NDC.
Yes.
So the president naturally was to attend the Jubilee as the party leader,
right,
to attend the Jubilee NDC. And of course, I will not say it's a done deal, because politics is the art of the possible. Anything can happen between now and then, until that signature is you know, scripted on the deal. We cannot say it's done, but I think that they're moving closer and closer to that point when they'll have an agreement.
Perhaps this is what Azimio really wanted.
Azimio, I think, always has wanted to have all the players together and have a united country. You know, where we have come from, Victor, we have come from a point where we were actually split as a country, like half-half.
Yeah.
And even, that's in 2017. You know, sometimes I smell it, I can see it, everyone can feel it. We are not going in the right direction. We had a problem in our country that people in their heart felt there's something wrong. And once people feel like that, they can easily be slide down and actually get into violence. And the handshake actually is what saved the country at that time. And from then, we should have understood, having experienced it 2007, 2008, we should have actually understood that we need to pull together. To pull together as a nation, not necessarily to kill political parties. We can be many parties, but having aspirations for the country, not for the person, for individuals. And I think that's what the president is trying to do, for his legacy, to bring people together, to bring all people together. But of course, you cannot succeed in bringing everyone, even in your own household. There is that one or two children who will be rebellious, and you let them go, because experience will teach them a lesson. And the president has a responsibility to leave a united country. He cannot, or we cannot afford as Kenyans, that during transition like we did in 2007, of course, it was not transition really in 2007, but from 2007, we should not have a divided country. We should not have bloodshed in our country.
But Hezena, when you look at it, people have been talking about the president trying to push Raila Odinga to presidency, the project. And Raila came out and said, you know what, I can never be a project. I've been on the ballot, this is now the 5th time. So being that the president is going to be present at that particular event, can we still say that Raila Odinga is a project?
I think it's very lame for anyone to allege that Raila Odinga is a project. He's an institution. He has played a very vital role in bringing Kenya where it is, in the building of this nation. He has resiliently suffered in the hands of all the political persecution he went through. Like he said in Kasarani, that he has a handkerchief that doesn't leave his hand. When he was raising my hand in Kasarani, I will not forget that he was holding my hand with the hand that had the handkerchief. That was a real-time testimony to me as a young person who was not born when he was going through this. He cannot be a project. If anything, he may be our project as the people in this country, as the women and young people in this country. We will say he is our project. And if you are President Victor, and you're someone who really loves your country and is doing everything, including swallowing your own pride, to go into a handshake for the sake of unity and prosperity of our nation, if you are Uhuru Kenyatta, His Excellency, I think you would have to make a choice between supporting a pact that is causing a class war between Kenyans and a pact that's bringing Kenyans together, regardless of tribe. People like me, minorities are even recognized in Raila's camp, right? And if you are a president who loves your nation and wants to see its prosperity, which of the two camps will you choose? Which one will you be proudly associated with? Azimio la Umoja came about as a baby of the handshake. Because what next after handshake? It was BBI, the Building Bridges Initiative. And bridges were being built. Each region was visited. I was among the task force that was compiling the MA recommendation. And all Kenyans aired out their grievances, their satisfactions through the BBI. The BBI didn't go through, unfortunately, but I want to believe Reggae Post.
The president said that BBI is just a dream deferred. It's a dream deferred because whoever was in the BBI
because experience will teach them a lesson. And the president has a responsibility to leave a united country. He cannot, or we cannot afford as Kenyans, that during transition like we did in 2007, of course it was not transition really in 2007, but from 2007 we should not have a divided country. We should not have bloodshed in our country.
But Hezena, when you look at it, people are
talking about our future. And the president is working hard together with the former prime minister to ensure that this country is united under Azimio la Umoja. So if Azimio la Umoja is a continuity of BBI, we are happy as young people.
Okay, let me ask you, so now what's on the table for Honorable Gideon Moi, Kalonzo Musyoka, and all the big bosses in the Azimio?
I think each of those...
probable lineup?
I don't know. I don't want to speak on their behalf. But of course, if they're intelligent enough, having been in politics for quite a while, one is the son of a former president. He must have grown up around State House, knowing how have an idea of how a country should be run. The other one has been vice president. So these are people who have been interested in how the country will be steered forward. And if they're intelligent enough, they will just sign this pact and join Raila and the president. Yes.
Dr. I'm still asking that same question because at some point Kalonzo Musyoka was left with no option once Honorable Mudavadi and Wetangula moved to Kenya Kwanza Alliance. Now, him and Gideon Moi are now trooping to Raila Odinga. Of course, it was just a matter of time. We've seen Charity Ngilu, Governor Kivuta Kibwana, as well as Mutua, all supporting Azimio la Umoja. So we can say that Kalonzo Musyoka had no option left.
You know, there is something that is often said that politics is always local. You must play politics at the local level.
Yes.
So when I saw Ngilu, the three governors from Ukambani, Ngilu, Mutua, and Professor Kibwana, when they came forth and said they are going to support Azimio, then I said, or what I thought I would read from there, is that Kalonzo has no option. Politics being local and regional, if we could say, then Kalonzo has to see what chances he has.
Yes.
And therefore he has to move to a coalition, and this is a time actually for the coalitions. And soon, I think by on 26th of March, we'll have the deadline for joining your political parties of your choice. Or even again, if with the new law, joining a coalition party of your choice. So time is of essence. It's perhaps almost barely a month for them to be able to do that. So the
quest for unity in this country, I believe,
direction. It's a political direction it's taking is that people have to make decisions, and definitely with the bashing, with the abandonment, if I could call it, by ANC leader Musalia and Ford Kenya, Wetangula.
Yes.
I think naturally this country is united under Azimio la Umoja. So if Azimio la Umoja is a continuity of BBI, we are happy as young people.
Okay, let me ask you, so now what's on the table for Honorable Gideon Moi, Kalonzo Musyoka, and all the big bosses in the Azimio?
I think each of those...
probable lineup?
I don't know. I don't want to speak on their behalf. But of course, if they're intelligent enough, having been in politics for quite a while, one is the son of a former president. He must have grown up around State House, knowing how, have an idea of how a country should be run. The other one has been vice president. Yeah. So these are people who have been interested in how the country will be steered forward. And if they're intelligent enough, they will just sign this pact and join Raila and the president. Yeah. Yes.
Dr. I'm still asking that same question because at some point, Kalonzo Musyoka was left with no option. Once Honorable Mudavadi and Wetangula moved to Kenya Kwanza Alliance. Now, him and Gideon Moi are now trooping to Raila Odinga. Of course, it was just a matter of time. We've seen Charity Ngilu, Governor Kivutha Kibwana, as well as Mutua, all supporting Azimio la Umoja. So we can say that Kalonzo Musyoka had no option left.
You know, there is something that is often said that politics is always local. You must play politics at the local level. Yes. So when I saw Ngilu, the three governors from Ukambani, Ngilu, Mutua, and Professor Kibwana, when they came forth and said they are going to support Azimio, then I said, or what I thought I would read from there, is that Kalonzo has no option. Politics being local and regional, if we could say, then Kalonzo has to see what chances he has. Yes. And therefore he has to move to a coalition, and this is a time actually for the coalitions. And soon, I think by 26th of March, we'll have the deadline for joining your political parties of your choice, or even again, if with the new law, joining a coalition party of your choice. So time is of essence. Is perhaps almost barely a month for them to be able to do that. So the winds have been blowing, and I think the direction is political direction is taking is that people have to make decisions, and definitely with the bashing, with the abandonment, if I could call it, by ANC leader Musalia and Ford Kenya, Wetangula. Yes. I think naturally Kalonzo was left with the option, and Gideon Moi, Oka was left with the option. If they were not going to field a presidential candidate, or were not going to run alone, the direction was they would go to Azimio. But
Dr. With all this happening, can we now confidently say that there was some sense of mistrust within the Oka from the onset?
You see, I think Oka had, of course, when you bring together people who, in politics, you have a coalition, you want to have a coalition, and people's personal interests are perhaps at the top of the menu, then you are likely to see this. Because each one wants to be leader, of course. Ultimately, you say, if I stay here, I might not get anything. So then you run away. And I wish, as my sister here was talking, I wish that this coalition, their shift into Azimio, is not about personal interest, but it's for the interest of the nation, so that we are able then to see that the coalition makes a difference for Kenyans and not for individuals. So I think we should swallow our pride. I would say we should actually have the public interest, the national interest of this country first, and then individual second. Yes. If we played that kind of politics, then I think Kenya would go far. But all the time when we reach the electioneering period, we have a problem, because most people are actually selling themselves. That is about politics. But then what is in the offing for Kenyans? Yeah. And I wish that this coalition they're going to make will have an agenda for Kenya, not an agenda for sharing leadership. Because we you know, there's been this talk that the BBI's aim was to distribute positions to as many top Kenyans as possible. But it should be that the effort that has been made from 2018, together with the handshake, was about Kenya and not about individuals.
Hezena is here. She was part of the task force, and she'll tell us whether it was meant for that. I don't know. Was that the purpose for the BBI?
As far as I know, with the MAR recommendation, which I helped compile, these were real issues affecting people, like land injustices, historical land injustices. We had
resource
distribution. We had something similar to one county, one product. That was our recommendation, you know, to make sure that the more counties go into industry, some industries allocated to them, and maybe in leather and milk and things related to our lifestyle, you know, and meat. And we were recommending creation of abattoirs in our county, in our respective 5 more counties. So there was nowhere we mentioned about resource sharing, power sharing. We only wanted an inclusive government where no Kenyan feels left out. And like Professor said, what people want, people want selfless leaders who move from their own selfish interest and focus on the interest of the people and the interest of the future of this nation, the immediate and the immediate future. And there is no one that has demonstrated that humility, that swallowing of pride, more than the president and Raila Odinga, because they went and swallowed their pride and did a handshake. How many Kenyans there who are upset and angry at each other can actually swallow their pride and at least for once follow a good example set by these two principles?
Absolutely. Allow me to take you back to what Kalonzo said yesterday. All of them are still in Mombasa. They had a rally there, but he said that the talks must be done in a structured way. How structured should this talk be? Because it's alleged that they had a 4-hour breakfast meeting in a closed-door meeting. We don't know the contents of their meeting, but once they come out, Gideon Moi talked of structured discussion and a pact. The same as Kalonzo Musyoka also talked the same, that the agreement must be done in a structured way. Briefly, before I bring in Dr.
Okay, I want to believe that by the structures, you can see like Ukambani leaders the other day had a meeting.
Yes.
I like what they are doing because at least they are showing unity of purpose. They had their Azimio before joining this other Azimio.
Yes.
So it's been very evident that someone like Governor Charity has been supporting Raila Odinga,
for and quite a long time. I mean, from 2002.
Yes, they had very intensive talks as him and the governor of Makueni, Machakos, and former Vice President Kalonzo Musyoka. So I believe whatever they want in Azimio has a lot to do with their people, because you see, you've seen them focusing on industries. I think they are part of some of the very aggressive counties in matters their community, and they have shown unity on their own. And when you, like he said, politics is local. If they are united and they are local grassroots, it means they are with their people. They are representing the interests of their people. But we know so many other leaders who come up here and negotiate for a cake for their own interests at the national level.
All politicians
at the
negotiate for the top cream
at the national level, but in the ground they are not in touch with their people. You know, they are not speaking for their people. There is a leader who will come and, you know, this one is not coming with the community, right? This one is following their own and pursuing their own interests. But I believe there is no one who is holding a political position that does not have few people following him or her. And I am hoping, as a young person, I cannot speak for them, but I'm hoping that whatever they're asking for in Azimio, whatever partnership they want, and like they say, and should be done in good faith, I am hoping it's about the interest of the people, most especially the young people and the women. I hope they do not intend to share these positions among themselves. You are so
passionate about young people and the women.
That's why I'm here.
We'll get to that briefly, because the 2/3 gender rule is still hanging somewhere. It's never seen light of the day. We'll talk about that later on. But Dr. structured talks.
Yes.
Kalonzo came out openly and strongly and said that the talks must be done in a structured manner. What do you read of that?
Victor, when someone says structured, it means for me that it must be done in accordance with the laid down procedures, particularly the law. It's not like just friends, you know, we are friends, we are talking as friends, and therefore we can agree and move forward. There is an experience, Victor, of MOUs in this country. And if you critically look at the law that the amendment of the Political Parties Act 2021.
Dr. I'm told that we need to take a break briefly. Okay. Then when we come back, we're just going to pick it from where? From the Act. Okay, let's take a break, and when we come back, we are still discussing the issue of that structured talk. So let's also get structured here and take a break. We'll be right back.